So, welcome, Clay Williams. We are so excited to have you. Clay was part of the transformation program, and he is a very busy entrepreneur and participated in this program. And so, we're excited to talk to you about what you felt like how it was for you and what changes you saw throughout the process. So, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself so that people can understand your heavy duty professional background, I think that's very important to know that someone
Sure.
as busy as you was still doing the program. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Clay Williams. I am a filmmaker, a founder of the Just Beginning Project, and a purpose and wellness coach for older adults based in New York City. And so I'm building this integrative ecosystem of a film as well as an IP extension to support older adults and not only understanding what their life can be like in retirement, but truly how to reinvent themselves from the inside out in all capacities. I came to this project to this opportunity, RD, because I had just been an entrepreneur that was extremely exhausted. Exhausted.
yeah,
And I live in New York City, and we are the capital of hustle and bustle and just keep going, going, going. And so when you made the offering of what, you were creating what Yoga Nidra actually is, I said, oh my gosh, I need to make time for this so that I have the time I need to fully show up in the film process, as well as in the coaching and the curriculum and training development that I do. And so, because my work is so multifaceted and it
yeah.
covers so many different lanes, I truly need to be someone who is centered and, present within my body to deliver the kind of impact that I want at scale.
Right. Yeah. Like you wear a lot of hats and it's, energetically very expensive to the body when you're doing all of that stuff. And so, were you struggling with any symptoms besides fatigue? Um, like before you started the program?
I'm laughing because yes, so much so, my sleeping pattern was horrible. I used
Hmm.
to be that entrepreneur that can say, "Oh, I can just, get up and going on 5 hours of sleep and be, just fine." And before the program, I did not have full like sleep filled nights. It was
Mm.
something that I just did not, experience. And so after the program and actually while doing it, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is what having like a restful full night's sleep
It's
actually
life
does for
changing.
your body. And it was. And I consider myself someone who is centered and who's grounded, but I did not know the impact on what having restorative sleep actually could do, not just for my physical body, but also how I show up in the world. And if you're comfortable, I can share like even some of my blood work that came
Yeah,
back after I had
whatever you
my
feel. Yeah.
yeah, so I always do my annual physical around my birthday, and
Hmm.
my doctor, who I absolutely love, she's so incredibly thorough. And if you live in New York City, it's kind of hard to find, kind of a
Hmm.
thorough um, general doctor. And she literally said to me, she goes, "Clay, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Do you see your resting heart rate?" I'm like, "No, show me." And she showed me. She goes, it is wonderful. Like it actually has decreased. My blood pressure went down. I never historically had high blood pressure to
Yeah.
clear, but she goes, "Wow, your blood pressure even has gone down, as well." And certain aspects of my blood work had shifted, and it
Hmm.
really just like overall, she goes, "Your wellness check is pretty excellent, this time." And
Woohoo.
it wasn't before, but
Yeah.
after doing the program,
Mhm.
consistently that I was able to sort of achieve those results. And so that's why I continue to stay on and will continue, working with you in your program.
Yeah, it's such a easy practice too. It doesn't take a lot of bandwidth, which is why I love it because as a physician, like it's, you see there's a lot of information out there and it's overwhelming. And it's
Right.
easy to get caught up in like, I need that supplement and I need that supplement and that's the one that's going to fix me and that's the, the answer.
Right.
And my interest was always like, how do you activate the body's own innate healing? We have it. Like,
Mm.
what can we do? And that's why Yoga Nidra is so beautiful because it's not just restoring you mentally, physically, emotionally, but also spiritually.
Absolutely.
And with that can come new creative ideas. You are, the king of that, but it'd be interesting to hear if like any more clear thoughts or ideas came through during this time for you.
So I prize myself as being the person who come up with the best ideas after a workout.
Yeah.
When I work out, literally, I am able to troubleshoot, to problem solve, and to also sort of access that space, which I call living between the veil of life and death, where you get
Mm.
like some of those great artistic moments, not creative, but artistic, downloads. And I started to see that I was having the same downloads after our yoga nidra sessions or when I was doing it, on my own. And the same level of, oh wow, that's a really great idea. Oh, this is a good direction to go on. And as I would receive after my workouts, started to be centralized as well after the nidras.
Mm.
So I would then refine a pitch, or if I had a meeting right after, I would shift something around. And so I start to use now both of those resting moments as well as the workout moments and
Yeah.
just see what comes without forcing it and just by being present in the process.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of like yoga nidra yoga is it's about being, right? And
Mm,
we're not being in our culture because we are wearing a lot of hats. And that's actually energetically very expensive to the body. And that's why a lot of people are not repairing,
yeah.
is that we're just too stimulated all the time. And what I love about what you said was that it's like the workout, like the doing, and then the being. It's that
Yeah.
nice balance that you've got going on. And that's where I think health lies,
Mhm.
adaptability lies, creativity lies. So sounds like it's working for you.
Yeah, it's been a gift, honestly.
I'm so
It's
glad
been
to
a
hear
gift.
that. Yeah. So there's a ton of yoga nidras free online. People can do it. It's pretty accessible. You don't need to pay to do it, but why would someone want to do a structured program like we did?
Well, there are free online programs, but then there's also those intentional programs that are robust with information. So I left the program not only understanding what Yoga Nidra is, but also how my nervous system is impacted. I don't care. There aren't any MDs, online giving you such robust information, giving you printouts and tutorials. And I don't know about other people in the cohort, but I printed out a lot of the things that you gave us. And I started to be able to talk about those things and implement that within, my coaching, within some of my programs, and just within
Amazing.
my, yeah, conversations in general. And one of the best things it gave me, it helped me understand, even going into a meeting, you shared in one of the nidras that we are primed like our ancestors, and we come into a space and we want to know, is there a threat?
Yeah.
And even how how we do that through our sensory, like through left, right, not up and down. And
Hmm.
so you even helped me through this practice understand, even in creating some of the apps, I never no longer doing vertical.
Yeah.
I was doing the scanning as we do, from a primal, standpoint. But going back to what I was originally saying about going into meetings, I realized I was going in to assess the threat,
Hmm.
assess who the people were, if I was safe in the space and this and that. And I learned to utilize that to my benefit,
Hmm.
because when people were coming in to me, RD, I saw them scan the room left to right.
You're like, I know what's happening.
Yeah, and they're trying to see if they're safe. And so even as someone, as a coach and someone who does a lot of this work, I start to use language as I am witnessing them do that scan. And
Hmm.
so I bring that up to say it's not just about rest. You help us understand the psychology behind, our body, the physiology behind, our practice, and also the historicity.
Hmm.
In humankind and how it has evolved, yes, but how some things have just literally stayed the same and why we're wired like our ancestors. And that, and I'm probably going on a tangent, but that has really helped me understand as well, looking back at my family pattern.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
because we are wired like our ancestors, I'm able to understand them a little bit better. And so, all of this to say, it's so much robust information that is from a medical perspective, um, that's from a physiological perspective, from a spiritual, emotional, mental perspective. And as someone who my time is very valuable to me, who have gone to try to see, okay, what's happening here with this Yoga Nidra program, things like that, it all was comprehensive and concise and organized in a really great, pattern that I had not seen before. And so to me, it's the understanding of this is a program that you cannot live without, and it's something that shouldn't be free for the value add that it's offering.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm so glad. It's been helpful, and it's also not just for you personally, like it's impacting whoever you're working with,
Yeah,
which is great because like if your nervous system is more stable, that is going to impact someone else.
yeah,
And that might create a different dynamic, which something else might come out of that now, which
yeah.
is very exciting. And so, like, I created the program with the overwhelmed nervous system in mind. That's why all the modules are really short. Like, I think most of them were less than even 6 minutes
Right.
to just keep that in mind and so that it's not overwhelming or already overwhelmed nervous system. And so the beauty of yoga nidra is like when we calm that mind down, the repair just happens. You don't have to do anything, which is like such a blessing in this world
It,
where it's
it,
always doing, doing, doing. So,
yeah, it literally changed my frame of thinking as someone who is a doer because I'm an entrepreneur and
yeah, same.
um, a high achieving, high functioning, individual, like having those 6 minutes, those 13 minutes, those 9 minutes, and literally it made a believer out of me in terms of maybe you don't have to do this at,
Is there a
four.
different way to do things?
Yeah, yeah. And so across the board in my relationships, professionally, personally, romantically, as well as with myself, it has allowed me to take a step back and to reassess in a way in which I just had not done before.
Amazing. Amazing. So, how old are you now so that people know that,
Lord.
yeah,
I'm
just in general.
43. Yeah.
Beautiful. So, as a 43-year-old, and you're 6 months older than you were when before you started the program, sounds like recovery is better, labs are better, health is better overall. So I think it's a really testament to be like, if you're conscious of how you're living and how you're going through your day to day, you can actually feel better than you did when you were younger.
And not only that, look better. Do you see the skin? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I kid you not, like, I historically get compliments like on having really, great skin, but I was literally looking in the mirror, a few months ago, and I said, "Is am I aging backwards? Is there a reverse that's happening here?"
Isn't
You
it
know,
beautiful?
it is,
Hmm.
but there seems to be a more youthful, vibrant, appearance, to what you were saying earlier. And so I
Yeah,
definitely, while age isn't a thing for me, I'm 43, yeah, and I look good.
you do look good. Well, what I love about Yoga Nidra is because it's a spiritual practice at its heart. And when we kind of calm down all of our identity stuff, like I'm an
Mm,
entrepreneur, I'm a coach, I'm blah, 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 I'm a filmmaker, all of that stuff that we're, spreading our energy through, when we kind of calm that down, and if we stay awake during the practice, we're resting in our true awareness, which is love, the divine source, whatever you want to call it. And how can you not shine when you get into that state and you're bringing that state with you now in your day-to-day life, which is beautiful.
yeah, I had a death side, and for people who don't know, a death side is when you meet with a publisher or someone in entertainment to explain what your brand is doing. Used to be really popular when there was a lot of people at their offices and things like that. And literally, this editor, we're sitting across from each other, and he says, you know, this is my first time meeting you, but you have like this aura thing, going on, for you. And when you're talking about like the spirit and the divine and really accessing that space, it seemed after this process, I was able to turn it up a full, notch. And being someone who I think is both that creative and spiritual, as well as that analytical brain that has that juxtaposition, it created a firm believer out of me because while I am that artistic person. I am
Yeah.
grounded, and I have that analytical framework that I
Yeah.
definitely operate within. So I completely agree with you.
From a science nerdy perspective, I don't think I put this in one of the modules. It'll probably be in the update of the next round. But your growth hormone increases when you get into deep states of rest. And so when we can consciously do that, that growth hormone is your, I don't like to say anti-aging, but like aging beautifully
Mm.
hormone. So it really helps with, that's probably one of the reasons why you're glowing. But like also, your spirit is just it's nourished.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be sure to share that. And I'll say, did you know? Not to get all nerdy, but
Yeah, which is why I love putting the program because I'm similar where it's like I am analytical, I like the physiology, but there's also this other side, which I think is missing in health, where we're very only one side labs value treat, but that's very reductionistic of what a human being is. And so it was fun to just do both sides.
yeah, yeah, and my line of work as well.
Yeah.
It's missing. Yeah.
Wonderful. Do you have any other thoughts or anything you want to share about the program?
I just thought that you handled it very masterfully. It was created very well, and your voice is so incredibly soothing. And so to have the guided nidras, with this incredible voice as well. You hear people who are doing voiceover work and different yoga nidra work as well, but it was just an added bonus, and for someone who um, sort of looks to aesthetics and sort of like that missing component, your voice completely matches the work matches your voice. And
Oh,
I don't
thank you.
know that if you understand what I'm saying, but
Yeah, no,
it's
thank you
a
so
it was
much.
a great add-on, as well.
What a compliment. Thank you. Thank you. Had
Yeah.
you done any yoga nidra before this program or was it fresh to you?
It was fresh to me in the sense of how you did. I went to one Yoga Nidra class with a friend who's a yoga teacher years and years and years and years ago, probably like maybe 7 years ago.
Hmm.
But it was never explained to me the way that you explain it, and it never had this robust, modules, add-on worksheets, and tutorials and guides to really understand what you're getting involved with. So no, definitely not on this level for sure.
Yeah, because it's deceivingly a very simple practice. So I think people dismiss it that it could be this profound. Or have this profound effect
Agreed.
on your life. But I'm like, I was like clinically looking, I'm like, this was like phenomenal for me. And like, I know all the geeky pathways that we're treating in clinic and stuff. And I was like, this works way better.
Yeah, yeah,
Not that those things don't have a place. They're
of course.
definitely a part of the picture. But I
Mhm.
was like, objectively looking at it, this works way better.
Yeah, I mean, I've only did the one, but having gone through this whole process is something that I would truly, truly recommend to as many people as possible, whether you're the busy entrepreneur, the high functioning C-suite exec, all the way down to stay-at-home dads and moms. That's a profession, as well, and people really need to,
Yeah,
look into
totally.
that for sure. You're a caregiver in particular, because I work with a lot of older adult populations, so many of their family are caregivers and their caregivers as well. And so I will be sure to recommend this program and spread it to as many people as possible.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of it and sharing your energy in it. It was amazing to have you be a part of the journey and excited for your continuation in the practice and how it evolves.
Yes, and thank you. Really, really, truly transformative. I appreciate you, and I know this will be highly successful because so many people need it, especially in the world that we're in right now, and also where the world is headed. We
Yeah.
have a lot of opposing energies, and just truly tons of anxiety in the world, and people
Yeah.
need to know that rest can be restorative.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, is that I think people don't see it that way. And like I think we're conditioned to think I gotta do more to um I guess achieve what I want, or like even health wise, or feel that's not gonna work for my anxiety, or that's not gonna work for I'm more complicated than that.
Yeah.
There's a conditioning there,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps slowly rewire that.
Yeah, and I'm for one, I am totally, a part of that. And one final point I'll add is it's been so effective that during the first few months of your class and process, New York City is known for scaffolding, of course, and we
Oh yeah, I
have
remember that. Yeah.
remember? We have this
Yeah.
scaffolding right outside of our window. And so I'm doing the nidras with people, jackhammers and things like that. Tip pointing is what it's called when they're trying to straighten, smooth out the blocks on the building. And so I was able to do that through, the construction. And then also being able to hop on a subway and practice a nidra in my
Yeah.
mind and things like that, and have that sense of calm headed to a meeting, headed to a dinner, headed to whatever the case may be. And so that's how I know for sure that it definitely works. If you can live in a city like New York City and have your nervous system regulated, and I say regulated in the way in which you teach it, not the way that other
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
share that
Yeah.
word, but to be restored within yourself. And so, as a New Yorker, for sure, if I can do it, other people can definitely maximize the practice for sure.
Oh, that's such a great point, because life is always gonna life, right? You're
Right.
never gonna have the perfect circumstances even when it comes to your practice, because it's just not gonna happen. But
Right.
you did the like you were able to be like, I am here, and that's the presence, right? And that
Yeah.
is that state that you're just living from, the being, which is great. And I know like you weren't even able to make a lot of the lives, right? Like, and
Right.
you still got benefit from it. And like, of course, you can rewatch them later, they're recorded and all that. But it was, I think that's a testament to like, you don't have to be perfect with doing the program.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was, and then I didn't feel bad because I couldn't make the lives. And shared at the very beginning, it's okay. Here's the playback. Here are the modules. Here, and so I was able to go with the class and also at my own pace at the exact same
Yeah.
time and be able to either catch up without the guilt or stay in tune until the next bump came where the busyness would end up happening, but also still doing my daily nidras,
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
so another entrepreneur said to me, I don't know how you have so much time with working out and all those other things. I just don't have the time. And for me, my response to him was, well, I don't have the time to not do this because
Mm,
I'm getting time back. And
hmm.
also, it's restorative in how I'm showing up in the world. And if I'm not doing this at all, I could imagine, especially the work that I do in the longevity economy,
Yes.
I'm not going to live as long. And
Right.
I'm taking away years of my life by not doing the working out, by not doing the daily practice with the nidras and things like
Yeah.
that. And so the time is not, a luxury. It's built in as a necessity for my calendar and for my schedule.
Yes. And that's just such a awareness, right? And like
Yeah.
that will help you live longer. And that means you're also more in tune with your body. A lot of people that are going to say that are
Mm,
just not in tune. And I think there's a wearing of a badge of honor of like, I'm so stressed out or I'm so busy that I don't have time to do this, you know?
yeah.
Like your body will tell you at some point, honestly.
So
It
true.
might pick a time you can, that is obviously not going to be convenient, but with severe illness now at that point.
Right.
And then it takes much longer to really heal.
Yeah, yeah. I've recommended this to friends who have chronic inflammatory
Hmm.
illnesses, such as lupus, MS, and they're so willing to try it because of the benefits that I have seen. And so, again, I just think this is a multi-layered and multi-faceted program that has so many benefits that, many I have just not thought about in this, short time of connecting. But it's wonderful and something, again, I cannot stress enough to folks to participate in for sure.
Well, thank you for being on this journey. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, thanks.